Hey everybody, doing something a little different today. I'm gonna look through some plans we just find online, some that happen to be a bit more popular, and just gonna take a look at them and give my input on what I think the floor plan looks like, maybe elevations. Just let you know my thought process behind things and maybe some things that you may want to look out for if you're looking to remodel your home or build a new home. So, something I've done a video in the past talking about these online sellers for plans, these uh, inexpensive plan sets you can buy online. They, like I had said before in videos, I do not recommend them, especially where we're located here in Arizona, especially in the Phoenix Valley. Permitting here is much more challenging than many areas in the country, and due to that, these plans are very basic. They are focused entirely, mostly they're focused on the design. There are a lot of really nice designs here. The problem is when you move past the design and you go to the drafting side, actually creating the construction documents, the papers you need to get permits and actually build, usually they're not sufficient. So in some areas of the country they are. Arizona, that's just not the case. So anyways, I do like to look at these websites as a reference to come up with ideas maybe. And really what I do is if clients come to me and are looking to get a new build done, aren't looking for very intensive design help and are more looking to get a simple home drafted up but don't really know where to start, I'll usually point them to one of these sites and say, hey, look through a couple of the plans you see on here, find some floor plans that are pretty close to what you're looking for, maybe some exteriors, the designs that you like. Bring them to me. Let's see if we can put them together and get you a plan set. Of course, we can do the full design ground up without using references like this. It's just a different service we offer, and it does tend to cost more for that because we spend more time on the design, of course. So, anyways, if you're looking to get a plan set done, usually for a bit cheaper, and are looking just to get the drafting done for plans, it's not a bad idea to refer to one of these sites and come up with a base idea. So, anyways, we'll look at this. Let's go. So, this website's architecturaldesigns.com. They have some really nice plans, or designs, anyways. There's a couple others out there, houseplans.com and whatnot. So, we're just going to look at trending. Let's take a look at some of these. So, if we look at these, some of the popular designs, obviously, modern farmhouse. We'll just look at this one right here. If it'll load, here we go. Okay, so this plan, pretty home, a lot going on with the gables. So first thing just to take note of, these steep pitches are pretty. The main span has a fairly steep pitch, it looks like. A little bit tricky to see. Anyways, it's got a fairly steep pitch to it. These steeper pitches, though they look good and they add attic space, just keep in mind that it does cost more to build. And on top of that, a limitation we run into frequently with tall pitches is max building height. So most jurisdictions, the max building height is 30 feet. It becomes real easy to hit 30 feet with a single story home if it's a larger home with a steep pitched roof. So just keep that in mind. I do like the dormers. We did a design for the Gillespies that wrapped up. They finished the build just a couple months back and had a similar look here in the front with that lifted dormer with the dormers. I mean, they only did one in the middle, but similar look, very pretty design. So I do like the design. Just looking at the elevation, things that I may not love and may want to do differently. I don't love this garage side. I'm assuming the garage doors are on the right and you come around. That I don't mind, but it feels almost cramped. I don't like how much it's coming into the front. I prefer the front to feel about as open as possible. And when you have the 90s, especially tucked in close like this, the garage, it can make it feel a bit cramped. So it's not my personal favorite, but I do know a lot of people like that. What else here? I don't love the window design in the middle. The reason why I don't like this as much is because there's nothing else like it. So you have the three windows, the taller middle. There's nothing else complementing that. So I don't love that unless we had it reflected elsewhere. It's not bad. Let's see. Windows are full height. So it depends on what's on the other side of these windows. We'll see that here in a minute. But it looks like these windows are full height. I'm assuming 10 feet most likely. Yeah, you can see back behind there. So depending on what's on the other side, that may not be a problem. All right, let's just look at okay, yeah, we have the back here. So here in Arizona, at least here in Arizona, not a fan of keeping any space open, even with the barbecue, unless, if anything, put a pergola or something over the top of it, add a little bit of shade. It just gets so hot. Depending on where that sun is coming from as well, these patios are fairly shallow, especially this one on the left. So you're not going to get, and having the exposed truss look that they're going for here, it's not going to be shading, so it's going to get hot. That's okay in some areas, but of course I'm looking at this through the eyes of an Arizona resident. I would do something different there. Obviously we don't have decks, so it would be a little bit different anyways, but just the depth of the patio I'm not a huge fan of. The big exposed trusses can be pretty. Engineering gets a bit more expensive with these in the building because you're stick framing all of this. Just if you're cost conscious. All right, so look at the floor plan real quick. So screen porch, I'm surprised it's 7 foot. Just from the renders it looks more like a 4 to 6 foot. So this still may be okay. The biggest issue I have with these really shallow porches, especially when you have that real tall open to ceiling look or open to roof look, is, like I said earlier, shading. It's gonna get hot right here, so push it out or bring down the ceiling a bit more. Other than that, 21 by 14 porch is a good sized porch, especially if you're able to cover that deck as well and kind of tie these in together. It's a really good sized deck. I didn't look, what was the square footage on this place? 2,800, okay, 28 and change. So I don't have much to really nitpick on here. This is a really nice floor plan. So I'm a little bit torn on this sort of dining room. It's more formal dining. It's offset from the rest of the living space. Some people like it. My gripe with this is it does really close it off from the rest of the space. So if you have people over and you're hosting, you're not either, I don't know, you can use the dining room, but this wall right here is going to close you off a lot. So just something to keep in mind. I do like to keep it completely open, or maybe add a post and you can soffit this in and still kind of frame it out as a dining room. That's a look that I like a lot. You don't even need a post. You can just do a full soffit around the border, which is just the drop ceiling. That can look real nice. Let's see. I always like having the powder room right off of the main living area. Some designs, we don't go that route, and my personal home will always have that. Pantry wise, I'm a fan of this. That's actually interesting. I don't think I've done that on a design yet. They have the butler's pantry door. You can see this going right into the deck. That's neat for hosting. Okay. That's not a bad idea. Now, I'd probably only do that if this was going to be someone's hosting home. There are clients that come to us and it's maybe they're retired or only have maybe a few kids that are about to head out of the house, and they're really thinking about hosting activities with friends. And when that happens, this may not be a bad idea. Otherwise, if this is going to be your home where your kids are growing up, it's a maybe. Having the door here may not be used much. But I do like the butler's pantry leading to a full pantry. I'm a big fan of that. That's become real popular too, butler's pantries, and not even in huge homes. I mean, we're doing butler's pantries in homes of this size, under 3,000 square feet. So I am a fan of that. Island layout, this is a little close. I don't love how close the island is to the range. That needs to get pushed out another foot or two for sure. General rule of thumb, in a small, medium-sized home, 4 foot at a minimum between an island and the adjacent counters is a good rule of thumb to stick by. That way you can have things open and still walk by. It's still a little bit tight. If your home's a little larger, 5-6 feet is really what you want to shoot for. It makes it comfortable. I'm always for seating around the island. I like the vegetable sink or prep sink in the island as well. I love the window facing the backyard. It's nice to have this be a pass-through window and be a little bit larger. I'm not sure if that's something they're accounting for, given this being a slider. I like the bifold idea. We do that fairly often. It's pretty nice. If you're hosting and whatnot, you can pass things back and forth. It's convenient. If we come over here, So something that I would probably want to do, or maybe explore, would be flipping the east and the west wing, or at least the master, the owner's suite here, the master. Reason being is you've got a fireplace right off the living room. You can make that a pass-through, just a double-sided fireplace, and have a fireplace there in the master. So if you rework this a little bit and have that master have its own fireplace, its own mantle there, that would be a nice addition. And because you already have it backing up against the bedroom, I'd go that route. It doesn't make as much sense to add it to the bed, one of the like kids' bedrooms or guest bedroom. So flipping those would be a nice option. Small normal bathrooms, that's fine. Walk-in closet, small walk-ins, that's fine. The size of the bedrooms is great as well. I don't see any problems there. I like the bedrooms to sit. If we can hit a little under 200 square feet, that's usually nice for a normal bedroom. So 14, I like a 12 by 12 to a 14 by 14. Any smaller than that, it's fine if we're space constrained. Otherwise, bump up the square footage a bit more. You'll appreciate it down the road. When the kids are, if you have multiple many kids and you're fitting a couple in a room, a 10 by 10 room gets real cramped real fast. Ask me how I know. 12 by 12 is good. 14 by 14 just that much more comfortable. It's easy to fit two decent sized beds, plus their dresser in the corner, and they can still move around. And then as they get older, or you have maybe in-laws staying in, again, 14 by 14 is very comfortable. Office, I mean, this is popular, this layout right here, this full middle span, having the entry, dining on one side, office on the other, going into the living and the kitchen. That is very popular. Obviously, it is comfortable. I love having the office at the entry. If you're entertaining clients on occasion, it's great. If you were entertaining clients more, it is nice to actually add doors on the front as opposed to those full height windows. And so that would be another option, is adding doors on each side. Another common thing. And this side, the doors wouldn't have to be usable. You could have them fixed, but have the doors usable on the office side. So that can be a nice addition that we see and we do every once in a while. So again, powder here is great. I like the coat closet right off the kitchen as well, close to the entry. That's not bad. It is nice to implement a coat closet off the entry. What I've done in the past is take some space from the office. And here the foyer is wide, and so if they really wanted a coat closet, or a potential client with this floor plan wanted a coat closet pretty bad, I'd probably suggest narrowing the foyer just a little bit, add a coat closet on the office side here, and then add more space to the pantry, or keep this as another closet, maybe a broom closet back here. That could work. All right, so going back here. So the garage, 22 by 23, it's a fine size, pretty standard. I don't like to go much smaller than that. 22-foot depth. I do not like to go less than 22 feet. So especially if it's a custom home, push it to 25 if you can. It just gives you more space in front if you have freezers or shelves or just want a bit more space, maybe a longer truck. But 22 feet is sort of the upgraded builder's option for a spec home. They'll do a 22-foot deep garage, otherwise it's a 20, and a 20 is shallow. A 20, you park the car, and if it's an SUV, you're squeezing around it if you fit it. Pet bath off the garage, cool idea, not a great idea in Arizona, obviously, so this is something where I would rework this into being off the laundry maybe, or implement it into some sort of closet in the mudroom. Linen master bath. Master bath is okay. You know what, I like this. My only concern is how close the shower and the tub may get to each other, and how small the shower has to become to accommodate space. That could be a problem. I'm not the biggest fan of having the owner's suite or any door around the master looking straight into another space. So what I mean by that is here, I mean, just to the example, is you're looking into the bathroom area, closet area, you're looking right into where the toilet is if that door's open. So I don't love that. I'd end up switching this around somehow. I'd have to rework a lot of the bathroom to make it work, potentially. If anything, you'd end up moving the toilet down to where the linen is, put the linen in the toilet space. I think that would be a safer move. Good size walk-in closet, about an 8 by 11, that's not bad at all. Laundry is small, but should be just fine. Sliders off to the porch from the owner's suite, that's great. Yeah, this is a nice floor plan. I do like this. If this is something, if somebody brought me this plan and wanted to rework it, like I said, I'd probably look to move the suite, the owner's suite, to the other side. Just honestly, mirror that. Yeah, I'd probably look to do that. Other than that, it's a great design. Let's see, they have a second floor. Oh, it's just going up to an unfinished loft above the garage. Okay. Also common, right? All right. How long are we going here? 15 minutes. Okay, we'll have a longer video again. Let's see if we can go through a little quicker here. All right. So another, let's see. I'm trying to think popular. I mean, obviously these are all fairly popular, but I'm looking for ones that we've... This is fairly similar to some we've been doing recently. Yeah, more or less. But anyways, Pretty Home. I love this swoop here. This is such a pretty detail. And I've seen this on another design that someone I know has done. That's a pretty design. I like that. Interesting roof lines. Rear elevation is okay. I like this. Let's go back to that front again. So, looking at the front, I don't know if I have much to critique here. This is really pretty. Something that can be challenging is when you have a two-story like this, you end up with these really tall walls, and it can be ugly really fast. It can be very bland or plain. So I like what they've done to break that up, not just with windows, but with this extra little siding detail. I think that's a good move in blending that siding in a few different areas. That's well done. I always like this detail as well. It's pretty. This dormer here, I would probably look to do a swooping dormer and maybe bring it up a little bit higher. That might be it though. Entry's nice. I wonder how deep that entryway is. I like to have a little bit of depth there just for the shade. Now, this would not be the cheapest build in the world, just looking at the complexity of the roof. Okay, let's look at that floor plan. So porch, okay, yeah, it's much deeper than it looked. This is a great depth. I do really like that it comes off on both sides. That's great. I wonder if it's the same deal. Yeah, I mean, you can't tell from this angle at all. I was trying to see if there's a little walkout. I mean, it looks like there might be a little walkway here. But I like that. Good sized porch into the entry, perfect. Office here, that's wonderful. You could very easily implement doors right off here if you wanted to do that. Now, I don't like that it's all open to the office, which is why this isn't necessarily an office. This could be more like a music room, which is fine. You could easily wall this off, add a door, and then from this end, add another door. Okay, bedroom 3, too small. Not a fan of the size of that bedroom, so don't ever go under 10 foot one way unless you are very space constrained. I've done it in the past, but it's because it was us eking out as much space as we could to fit a bedroom. So this 9.9 by 10.11, not great. So these need to be wider, no question. One of the things that did affect that was probably their front, this bump out on the front. But regardless, that's something that I would want to add another foot of width to at least. The proportions of this place, these dimensions are they're different, which is kind of neat to look at. This isn't very typical. So there's a lot of fireplaces. See this fireplace here? This is bugging me. Again, the same thing I said before, master bedroom, getting the fireplace. You could very easily work something out like that. Now it being from the outside makes it a little bit more challenging, but I don't know. There's a lot of fireplaces and I think it's a bit excessive. Master bath. I love this. I love that. This is a great master bath. This doorway needs to be wider. I would bump this to a 4 to 6 foot, something like that wide. Just with how large the master bath and the closet are. Give it some more, open it up more. Okay, so we've got the tub and the shower. I've seen this before. I've done this before on a design. They didn't end up getting built out this way, but I really love the entry from both sides. I would probably split this closet up into a his and hers. I think it just makes a whole lot more sense. I would, given the size of this space, I would like to add a second water closet, a second toilet in here, having one on each side, and really split this up into a his and hers master bath and a closet. It would be doable. I'd like to see something like that. But I do like this a lot. The only real issue I have with the size of all this is if you're not looking for this place to be huge, this really needs to shrink down a bit and try to find a way to give more of that space to the bedrooms and their closets. Like these walk-in closets are very, very small. They work, but they're very small. I'd like a little bit more size or space in here. The bathrooms here are very cramped as well. Just trying to, they tried to squeeze in two full bedrooms, and then went a little overboard with the master. So this feels more like a custom home. Somebody wanted this. It fit their lifestyle. And when that's the case, then great. But I do like to look for ways to make it a bit more approachable to the masses in a way, more because not everybody dies in their home. So keeping in mind that the home may be sold at some point by you, it's not a bad idea. Don't get too custom. Realtors will back that up. All right, so great room, 10 foot. Looks like they vaulted here, which I do like. I would vault this for sure. It's going to open it up a lot coming in from here. I don't know how the framing is set up in here. I don't know if there's a second floor over this space. There's not. Interesting. Okay. So because there's no second floor over this space, I would absolutely make the ceiling height taller with a plate, where the bottom of the roof planes sit. I'd bring it up to like a 12 so that when you come from the foyer, you're not going tall, dropping down low, and then coming back up in the vault. I don't like that, so I would keep this much taller. Office, it's not really, other than depending on what the roof framing situation is. I don't know if I would drop this any lower than the foyer. You could keep this tall as well. Pantry, it's a good pantry. I do love the look of the pantry access being in line with the cabinets in the kitchen. It's nice. I have done that before a few times. Kitchen is really small. Again, the proportions of the place are just a little odd. It's very weighted towards the master. Yeah, and everything else feels just a little small. Breakfast nook is really large, which is fine, but I'd want more space in the kitchen somehow. It's a fairly small island. It's still not bad. Okay, so coming in here, we've got, I do like how we have almost our own separate guest bedroom. Yeah, friend's entry, that's exactly what this is. This is sort of a guest bedroom, mother-in-law's quarters. I like this a lot. Yeah, I mean, again, it's too small, but other than that, I do like this. This is nice. See, the covered patio, I would ex-nay this. I don't see any reason for this being separated. I would prefer to add more space to bedroom 2 from the covered patio. If this breakfast nook could shift off to the side and then add more space to the main patio and put the grill there, that would be nice. The lockers here from the garage, obviously not an Arizona thing. Don't do that. I've seen it and I'm not a fan of it. I would just get rid of this entirely. There's just no reason for it. Leave the cubbies here. It'd be nice to have a mudroom area in here somehow. Oh, see, that's a problem. Laundry. Oh, wait a second. Dishwashers. Huh, there are 3 dishwashers. I'm not entirely sure what the purpose of this is other than for this bedroom, but because they don't have their own kitchenette, this is a little odd. I'm not sure. I would get rid of whatever the purpose of this is and make this the lockers for mudroom. This being the laundry room is fine. The problem with this laundry room is it is really far from most of the bedrooms, so you are having to track across the home to get to it. Not ideal. It'd be nice to have it on this west wing. 3-car garage, 19'4", way too shallow. Oh my goodness. This is a terrible, terrible, terrible idea. You're not going to fit. Not all cars are going to fit, really. I mean, yeah, sure, a 19-foot car will fit in a 19'4" span, but you're not going to convince yourself to park there, and you're going to have to jump out the passenger door to get out of the car. So this is not a good idea. 28.9 is fine. I like having storage off the garage. That's great. I like the storage, all the storage they have. The proportions are just odd. I feel like there's a lot of odd compromises around the place. Beautiful home, but yeah. Well, I'm gonna stick with these two for now, and I'll do more. I'll make this a recurring thing. So the big thing here I wanted to talk about in regards to this design is there's really two ways to approach. I mean, there's many ways, but two ways I want to talk about approaching design are designing first or drafting / your lifestyle first. So what I mean by that is design first is you are trying to get a look like this design right here that we have. They wanted this look on the exterior. It looks amazing. They came up with this beautiful design for the exterior, and then they made the interior work. That works for some people. Clearly there were some big compromises here. I've run into that in the past where it does cause a lot of space constraint issues. Maybe worth it to some people. The other way of doing it, usually how we go about it, is figuring out a floor plan, or at least sizing for bedrooms and whatnot that you would like, and then building a design around it. So it's better to sort of meet in the middle, because either way you're going to compromise either the look of the exterior or you're going to compromise the interior. I prefer to compromise the exterior a little bit, but it depends on what you're looking for. So if you want this home to really make a statement and really stand out, then we'll figure out a way to make the interior work for you. But if you care more about the space in your home, the living inside your home, then we can usually get a really pretty exterior still working out. So anyways, there's just different ways to approach the design process. So when people come to us looking to have a build done, there are different types of clients, of course. Most people will come to us and say, hey, we'll say here, we've got a 4,000 square foot home we want to build. We want to build a 4-bed, 4.5 bath. We're thinking we'll have a pretty open floor plan. We want a big patio off the back. We really want the front to be pretty. When I have those things come to me, then I'll ask for a couple of design ideas, maybe something like this, and then we'll sit down and try to draw something up quickly. Drop in some boxes, just showing where bedrooms are. Kind of a neat little trick that I've had clients do in the past is actually cut out little pieces of paper, label them bedrooms or bathrooms, whatever they are, and just sit and arrange them on a table. That's a nice way to kind of see how a flow may work without getting real specific with dimensions and spending all your time there. That's my job. So once you come up with a floor plan, then I look, okay, how else can we shift this floor plan to make it work with your exterior? Anyways, we'll do this a little bit more often, just kind of look at other plans that are online, just critique and give our input on things. This was a perfect design for someone, most likely. A lot of these plans that end up on these sites, most of the time they're from someone like me that did a design for somebody, and then they sell this site that design that they had done. So this home was probably designed for somebody, which is why there are some funny compromises here. It must work perfectly for somebody. But for the general population, there are a few oddities that I would want to eliminate or look to reconfigure. So anyways, that's it for today. A bit of a little different. And if you watched a little bit of it, I appreciate it. Hope you got some ideas. We'll do this a little bit more often just to try to give you some more inspiration and ideas so that you can come up with what you want your future home to look like or feel like. Anyways, Ethan with Planned Right, thanks, and have a great day.